evening, everybody. It is the Cryptid Huntress. I'm Jessica Jones. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Gosh, do we have a fantastic show for y'all. I have my good buddy, Mr. Greg Ogles, here in the studio, and he has a pretty fantastic documentary coming up. The premiere will be in January, and it is called The Vanished. And this is a film about people who have gone missing within the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. And so tonight we are going to be talking about missing people in some of our national parks and more. We have a lot to talk about. Greg and I actually spend time out in the woods with our team together, and we've got some history, y'all. And Greg's awesome. I can't wait to bring him up tonight. You guys are going to love it, and I can't believe this is his first time on the Cryptid Hunters channel. I am just shocked. I should have, Greg, you should have been coming on a long time ago. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. We got to get you on more often, and you will from here on out. I promise. Okay. and so anyways, you guys, we've got a lot to discuss. Actually, I'm featured in his documentary, and I am discussing the remote viewing data, which you guys are fully aware of. We have done a show on the Dennis Martin case. We covered that quite a while back, and we'll talk about that a little bit tonight. And I can't wait to see it on the big screen with Greg. Okay, so get your popcorn, y'all. We got some rabbit holes to dive down tonight, and I can promise you it's going to be a good time with Greg here tonight. So if you guys would like to check out my archives of my shows and my social media links and the calendar of events, please go over to my website. That's thecryptidhuntress.com, and you can find all the information on the Cryptid Huntress over there. And so check that out. Also, all of the remote viewing data from all these targets I'm going to be talking about tonight. We're probably going to even get back into a little bit of robot grandma. Greg is not even ready for this one. I didn't even mention this. So we might talk about robot grandma. I know that's not on the West Coast, but I think it does pertain to some of these missing persons and maybe where these people are going with that case alone right there. But all of these targets are on my Patreon as well as the Ether. I was assigned the Ether as a coordinate remote viewing target with Jock Doubleday. I put that up there. And also the Amico alien that Barry and I discussed yesterday, that data is in my Patreon as well. So y'all go please check that out. Become a member of my Patreon. Thank you guys so much for your support. And also I do have a shop on Etsy. It's called War Woman Goods. All right. Shop with War Woman for Christmas this year. Okay. All right, y'all. Well, let's get to our show tonight. Okay. And we have a lot to discuss. And Greg is waiting patiently backstage. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to actually read a quote. This is actually out of the David Paulides Missing 411 series, one of his books. Okay. People of all ages have been disappearing from national parks and forests at an alarming rate, all under similar circumstances. Victims' families are left without closure. The Park Service has refused to follow up and keep any sort of national list and or database of the missing people, thousands of missing people. And researcher David Paulides devoted many years of looking into these disappearances, resulting in the identification of at least 52 geographical clusters of missing people in America. And that's just in our national parks. Just in our national parks alone, we have an epidemic of people going missing out of the United States, all over North America and all across the world. And of course, y'all remember I was tasked with remote viewing targets of these missing persons clusters. This is a very hot topic. It's up for debate as to where all these people are going, but I was tasked with remote viewing targets of the missing persons clusters and the origin of the water death clusters. That's actually separate from just the regular missing persons clusters. And of course, I was tasked with the remote viewing target of the disappearance of Dennis Martin as well. If you guys will remember, he was 6 years old back in 1969, where he went missing on a family camping trip in the Great Smoky Mountains National Forest. I think it was at Cades Cove. And some believe he was kidnapped, potentially by feral people or even a Bigfoot that are said to inhabit the Great Smoky Mountains. His disappearance was never solved. Of course, my remote viewing data, it had some pretty good information in it. And of course, researcher and filmmaker Greg Ogles recently assembled a team to investigate the mysteries behind those who have vanished in the national forests across North America. And I was interviewed for this documentary. And tonight I have Greg Ogles here of Relic Films to discuss The Vanished. And so please help me welcome to the show tonight my good buddy, Mr. Greg Ogles.
Hello.
Hey, Greg. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. You know, if I'm on here, you'll just let anybody on. I know that.
Oh, God. Well, okay, whatever.
Just kidding. Just kidding. You know, it's really a pleasure to be on the show. I've been waiting to be on here.
I know. I can't believe you haven't been on here sooner. I'm sorry, Greg. I thought you had already been on here.
Yeah, I had to wait to get to the big time.
Man, I tell you what, you've got a fantastic documentary coming out. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of it.
Thank you. It is going to be really, really good. I can't wait to show it. Really, you know, it's something that I haven't really done before. And you know, my past films were more cryptid oriented, and Adam Davies approached me with this idea about doing a film on these missing people. And I was like, well, I don't know about this, Adam. So we got together and we started talking about, you know, just the different angles of what happened to him. And I'm like, okay, sounds like a good project. So let's go with it. And, you know, I started assembling pieces of a puzzle, you know, and I took an angle that you don't see many people taking in films these days.
Oh, what's that angle?
Remote viewing.
Oh, yes. I love it. You know what? That actually is a really good sign for me because it shows that like this is really becoming more popular and more accepted as a way to look into things like missing people. I think that's really important because listen, if I had a loved one who went missing, I would exhaust all my resources and all my options, and psychics are on that list of people I would contact probably first and foremost, remote viewers and psychics.
Oh, absolutely. And you know, you would be really surprised at how often remote viewers and psychics are actually contacted by the police doing investigations in missing people. They don't let that out, but they are contacted very often.
Oh, my team's been contacted, Greg, plenty of times. I've actually done several cold cases, and law enforcement around the North Atlanta area and stuff. People will be going missing. I can name at least 2 cases that I'm very familiar with, and the audience will be familiar with one of them, the Runaway Bride. I don't know if you remember her. That was one of the cases that the guys on my team, that was before I was a part of their team, they had been tasked with that, and one of the guys located where she was, actually.
Really?
And figured out that she was alive and had cut her hair and gotten on a Greyhound bus and all that through remote viewing.
My.
Yeah. But I've actually done some remote viewing cold cases. One, the bodies are usually bodies. They're usually not alive by the time they come to us and ask for help on the cold cases. But I've done two pretty well-known cases. So,
wow.
Yeah.
You just proved my point. Yeah, you just proved my point. You know, I don't know other people who are gifted with, you call them psychics, remote viewers, whatever you want to call them. I think they're all using the same tools. At least me personally, I think they're using all the same tools. I know several of them, and they've all been contacted by authorities trying to get some help with missing cases. But yeah, this film turned out really, really well. Again, it's going to be pretty dark. The other 2 films were The Legend of the Downy Booger, which was my first film, and you can go watch it on Tubi and whatever. And I really didn't know what we were doing when we put it together. It was a learning curve. But it's a really good film, though. It's still really good. And the second film was The Land Between the Lakes. And it is fantastic, absolutely fantastic. It's got an encounter like there's not been an encounter documented like is documented in the Land Between the Lakes. But this film is a little bit different. It like I said, it explores the mystery behind these missing people, and it's sometimes when I found myself when I was doing some of these interviews and diving into the information, it was very difficult at times to separate myself from being too involved with what was going on, because you start reading some of this and at times I would get like almost emotionally involved, and I had to move away from it for a bit. But that was something that was unexpected in the film.
Oh yeah, yeah. You really, my sister, let's just say, she used to be a 911 dispatcher, and I'm going to kind of liken it to something kind of like that, like first responders having to become hardened to some of this and kind of have to cut off, kind of like put up a wall or a boundary emotionally when you're dealing with topics like this. Like even with the remote viewing, I'm trained to like not get emotionally into it, just to observe. You know what I mean? Because it can be devastating, especially when you're remote viewing missing children and things like that.
Yeah, and I thought I would have been prepared for, everything that I would have felt going into this, because, as a traffic engineer, part of my job at one time was to investigate very difficult crash situations, whether it be, pedestrian, train, whatever. And I did a lot of train ones. And so I've seen some gruesome things. So I thought I was prepared for this, but alas, I was not. So and it was a learning curve for me.
Oh yeah. Well, you know what? I think it's important that we do explore these missing people. I mean, if it were my loved one, I would want to always keep looking. Okay, I don't know how. I mean, that's it's. I want to say it's almost worse than like knowing for sure that your loved one has died, because at least you have closure.
Right.
Imagine like not being able to know where your loved ones are, especially your kids, your husband, your wife, your parents. I mean, it's got to be just absolutely devastating.
Yeah, and not only devastating, but when there's, in some of these cases, there's absolutely zero information, none. There's no sign of where these people went. I mean, there's no articles of clothing left behind. There's no signs of struggles. There's just nothing. They're just vanished. They're gone. And some of those situations, they have to be incredibly frustrating and heartbreaking.
Yes.
And I would, if I had a loved one that was missing like that, I would appreciate others coming to the rescue.
That's right. Listen, we're all trained in tracking and stuff. Okay, Greg, you got good connections. I'm just saying, a lot of good people that are expert trackers and stuff. You know who to call if something were to happen, right?
Yeah, I do.
We know we got trackers and all that,
I do.
and remote viewers and search and rescue experts and survivalists and all that.
I've been blessed to be around some very good and talented people. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, me too. And one thing I wanted to bring up, I know we're going to show the trailer for your documentary here in just a minute, but Greg, I'd mentioned to the audience before I brought you up that you and I have spent time out in the field together a bunch of times. We have actually. I guess I'll show some proof evidence right here. Okay, some photographic evidence. This is the only picture I could find of me and Greg together out in the field. But we're out there. I think I run from the cameras, y'all. I run from the cameras when we're out in the woods. But there's me and Greg over there on the far side.
Yep, and, we're standing right there together.
We are. This was actually the same day that I did the interview, I think, or maybe it was the day before I did the interview for your documentary. So, but yeah, we had
Tony Merkel there too. Yeah, that was the weekend or the week that we did the interview. That's right.
It was. Yeah, we had a big old crowd out there. They were doing another documentary with the team out there as well. So yeah, but so I wanted to bring that picture up because we spent time out at the meadow together.
Yes.
And the meadow, everyone on my channel knows the meadow is a place of high strangeness. Yes. We've had a portal incident that happened out there. And I have to question, we're talking about missing people out of national parks and state parks and just forests in general, you know, could it be portals and stuff? I mean, with our boots on the ground experience out there, knowing what's out there, it may not be just people. It could be like portals and things like that too, right?
100%. You know, for a long time, I was sort of on the fence about portals until I started interviewing Trey and all of the group at the Metal Project. And I saw, I mean, that video evidence is very difficult to deny, right? It's hard to deny that. You can't hide from the fear. So, and I was like, that kind of pushed me over toward, like 90%, the portals exist, until I started filming for The Land Between the Lakes. I saw one. I saw a portal at The Land Between the Lakes.
Tell me about it.
Yes, okay. Well, it was one of our first nights there, right? And we were out orb watching. Well, I see orbs all the time. You know, they're nothing new. I don't know what they are, but I see them all. We see them all the time, right? So we were out orb watching, and I saw a color of light that I hadn't seen before, right? And granted, you know, this is 1 o'clock in the morning or so, roughly, and so it's pitch black where we are, right? Pitch black and cold, and very cold, very, very cold. And I saw a color of light that I hadn't seen before. So I was like, what is that? What is it? And I couldn't see the source of it. So I started maneuvering around a little bit. You know how you do through the trees, start like looking back, swaying. So I got to a position where I could actually see the source, right? It was a freaking portal. It was a rectangle. Just, it was like somebody hung a picture up out in, up in the sky, or not say up in the sky. It was only about 3 foot off the ground, 3 or 4 foot off the ground. But I was able to see into it. Now, I don't know where the other side was. It might have been on the other side of Earth. It might have been on Pluto. I don't know where it was, but it was daylight wherever it was. It was daylight.
It was daylight.
It was daylight. Wherever it was daylight. That was the color of the light that was emanating from this portal, right? It was daylight coming out of it. And I was looking at it, I was like, and I was just gobsmacked because I was not prepared to see one, much less being able to see to somewhere else, right? And then, somebody else that was in a group kind of shined a flashlight out toward that way, and then poof, it was gone.
Ruined it. Yeah. Dang it.
Gone.
Yeah. Lights out, people.
Yeah.
Don't turn the lights on.
Yeah, if you're going to go orb shopping, orb looking, lights out.
Orb shopping.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seriously.
Seriously, though.
Okay.
But the amazing thing, though, about 2 minutes later, an orb came up right from where that portal was. Came up from that direction, and it just came up, kind of settled in and hung out with us for a while.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. I mean, that's the one constant that we've always had from the very beginning since I started doing Bigfoot research back in like 2011. Mm-hmm. Orbs. It's a constant. Yeah, and orbs are not only out in the woods, they're like at haunted houses. And it's kind of like it's like the thing that connects all the paranormal stuff. It's like orbs.
It is. And, doing all of this, I've come to, like going back to what I did for a living, it was my job to find pieces of a puzzle and put them together to make a picture, right? Well, I've been doing this all along while I've been out cryptid hunting. And I've come to the conclusion that I think Bigfoots, but not only Bigfoots, but I think Bigfoots have the ability to transform themselves into an energy form. And that's how they traverse portals. Okay, so if you go back and you look and see at the portal footage at the meadow, the 2 individuals that went into the portal, right? What happened to them? They both
disappeared.
Well, they disappeared, and afterwards they developed an aggressive form of cancer, right? Yes. And both have passed away, unfortunately, since.
Well, one of them got cancer, and one of them had a heart condition.
Okay,
he had a heart attack.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, they both passed away.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So was it directly related to the portal? I don't know.
We don't know.
Don't know. However, I'm thinking, well, I mean, is it a coincidence? Could be, but if it's not a coincidence, perhaps it's not healthy for people to walk into portals,
It's not at all.
organic material, right? And I think and because I saw the portal and I saw an orb come up from there, and when I filmed Booger, we were filming an orb, right? And we thought we only was catching the orb, and later on during post, Brent came up to me and said, hey, we got something. I'm like, yeah, we got an orb, Brent, but no, we caught the crawler, this thing crawling between us and the orb.
Ew.
And it's like we caught it, we didn't use any kind of passive light or anything with the camera. I mean, we didn't use any active light. It was a passive camera. So there was no light being used. So he had no idea that we were turning on that camera. Anyway, so when we turned it on, maybe it detected the EM field when it came on. And it was like an oh crap moment. You can see it like it didn't know where to go, but it's crawling, right? And then behind it, this orb goes nuts, just blah, 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 just getting bright and dim. And the camera was trying to focus on the crawler because it was physically there, right? Okay. And then it gives up and it focuses on the orb. And then the crawler is able to get away, after it kind of gets blurry, right? So it's just weird that orbs are so connected to Bigfoot. I think that they really can transform themselves into an energy form. They're not really from here. They may spend some time here, but I don't think they're really from here. And they're able to traverse portals in an energy form.
Oh yeah, I agree. And I've got my own stories about seeing orbs and flashes of light through the trees, and then I had a brown orb, like an orangish brown orb, up in North Georgia one night, and it shot through the trees. And right as it shot through the trees, I heard a hoof, like a howl, and it wasn't a howl. It was like it was a huff and a growl. It wasn't a howl. It was a huff and a growl, and it was. I mean, we were so startled by it. We both turned our flashlights on. My buddy Matt and I both turned our flashlights on, and it was not a bear. We were thinking it might be a bear, but it was not. It was definitely a Bigfoot. Definitely a Bigfoot.
That really sounds like what we capture at the Land Between the Lakes. I mean, we were out getting all of our film gear ready, and all of a sudden I hear a kind of gruffy howl sound, whatever, growl or whatever. And it was on then, This encounter lasted like 25 minutes, and we have it all. It's all on film and everything. But you can hear their growls, huffs, growl, whatever it is that they're doing. But yeah, I agree with you, and that there's orbs all around. So I don't know what those things are, though. I wish I knew what the orbs were. Well,
let's take a moment to think about this for a minute, because we got all these missing people. We're going to be talking about missing people tonight, of course, and we're experiencing portals out there. Our full team's experiencing portals. You've experienced your own portal. We've had multiple portals. We had a portal that opened up in my base camp with my team when I own another team, not the Meadow team, but another team I'm on a long time ago. And two creatures crawled out of it. One of them got out of it, and the other one got sucked back in as it closed. So, and it was right off the ground, just kind of like the one that you saw a little bit. But nonetheless, let's just say we have these portals. Okay, we've got these missing people. Imagine if these portals could be weaponized in some kind of a way, Greg, and maybe people are. And I'm not saying it's just cryptids doing it. I think humans might have access to some kind of portaling technology, and the potential of people not just walking into it, being grabbed and sucked into portals. I don't know. I've always thought that could be a possibility too, but I don't know. It may just sound crazy.
No, I don't think it's crazy at all, Jessica. I think it's something that the average person really hasn't thought about, because the average person doesn't go out and experience these kind of things. And, they think, oh, that's hooey. It's not hooey. It's real. These things are real.
Yep.
And in my personal opinion, if you're walking around and a portal just opens up, you get sucked into it. And I think that could explain some of these missing people, where there's absolutely no evidence of them at all. Just all of a sudden they're there and they're gone. There and gone, just boom, just like that.
Yes.
And there's no evidence of what happened to them. Scott Carpenter had filmed a portal before he had passed away. And you can sort of see something at the edge of that portal that he had filmed. And we actually went there during the making of The Vanished.
Oh, you did?
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
I wonder if that's okay. So I actually go out in the field sometimes with Harley Owens, and he goes to some of Scott's research areas, I believe, or in the area over in East Tennessee. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you, that was some of the most intense cryptid activity that we've had. I mean, some of the guys, actually the second night when I was not there, they had massive cryptid activity out there. And but it's a dogman and Bigfoot out there in this area where Scott Carpenter, from what I understand, had some pretty good evidence of both of those.
Well, he did. And he's got one video in particular. He was famous for putting a camera behind him, like facing behind him. And as he's walking away, you can see this portal that opens up, and there's this little thing at the bottom of it, just kind of staring out of the portal or whatever, and we went exactly there, and we had some really interesting results while we were there.
Oh, wow. I want to give a shout out to my buddy David Moser as well. He has always done the camera on the back for years as well. And it does get some great results. Okay, amazing results. So, because they don't think you're looking at them when you're walking. Right. I mean, that's when they like to sneak out and peek their head out from around behind a tree and stuff. So, yeah, I need to start doing that, I guess.
One of the things I've learned doing this, the many years I've been doing it, is that you see maybe 1% of what's around you, particularly when it comes to cryptids. Because now I get every time I go out, I'll just carry a camera, and that camera is just panning all over the place, and I might see something or I might not, but I bet you that camera picks it up a lot of times, but the camera picks it up.
Oh yeah. I don't know. Have you have a lot of nice, expensive equipment, I'm assuming. And have you ever had any of your equipment get fried or anything weird happen to your equipment out
Absolutely.
there? Yeah, I figured.
Absolutely.
I was going to ask. I had to ask.
Yeah, I don't think anybody has done this hasn't had that happen to them. I'll tell you one of the weird things that happened during the making of this of The Vanished. I went to North Georgia, and I was out with Squatch fishing outfitters, and we saw a Bigfoot. A Bigfoot crossed the road in front of us while we were going on location, right? And we're like, "Oh, freaking A, that's great." But we filmed a lot of that interaction, and when I got home, I had it on the SD card, and I transferred it over to the computer, but I never erased it off my SD card. So I went on a vacation and come back. When I came back, all of the video that had the great audio on it, was gone from the computer. And then I put in the SD card, same thing, gone from it.
Okay, that happened to me, Greg. The first time I ever went Bigfooting, and I had missing time. And we had some weird stuff, some ET stuff that was happening while we were out there trying to get Bigfoot to step on top of us one night. Okay, we were hiding out in the woods, and I had my recorder on my knee, and we were seeing orbs, big ones, flying over us in a low-flying UFO. This is in North Georgia, by the way, North Georgia. And I was scared to listen to this tape because we knew that something had happened to us, but we didn't know what. And my equipment had gone forward an hour, and my partners had gone backwards an hour. And we were like, okay, something's off. About a week later, the head of that team came over to my apartment to listen to that tape with me, to listen to the recorder tape. That's how old it was, tapes, okay? And so he came over to listen to it with me, and we listened to this thing. It was hours, a couple hours of recording, or more hours. And so we sat there and listened. And at some point, when we saw these orbs, you could hear bottle rockets shooting off all around us. It sounded like bottle rockets. And he and I had not heard that with our own ears, Greg. And guess what? After we got done listening to this whole tape, you could hear like there was something there with us that we didn't hear.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we got done listening to it, it deleted by itself.
Wow.
It completely deleted it. And if the head of my team had not been there with me to hear it, no one would have ever believed me, probably.
Wow. That happened to me. And what was so weird is right after that happened, I got a call from Trey, and he had asked me if anything like that had happened because somebody with Tony Merkel's team that filmed at the Meadow happened to him too. Same thing happened to him too.
Yeah. It happens. There's something. There's certain things that they just don't want to get out to the general public. I guess I don't know. It's like these experiences are just for us and us alone.
Yeah.
And they don't want everybody to see what we see or hear what we hear. Greg,
yeah.
I guess I don't know.
And I really wish I could have got that portal on film. I mean, that was that would have been the gold. That would have been gold. But I would think even if I got it on film, it probably something would have happened. Weird stuff like that happens. I mean, we've had footage where we thought we captured the Bigfoot, walking away or whatever.
Yeah.
And camera fries or
it's not there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That happens all the time.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, our good friend Jamie Kelly is in the chat. What's up, Jamie? She said that she was waiting. I think she's been waiting for your jokes tonight. I'm pretty sure. I think she said that earlier tonight. So, hey, Jamie.
Yeah. Here. I'm normally a joker when I come on some of these shows. Yeah.
Just around the campfire, usually, actually.
Yeah. Well, I come on some of these shows and, I have to be so serious at work all the time. And then I'm like, by the time I get home, I'm like, I'm about to blow up,
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. So, when I get out, I try not to take myself too seriously, except when I'm filming. I do take my film seriously.
Yeah, I know you do. Well, listen, I like to have fun over here on my channel, obviously. We always have a good time over here. And I want to say hello to William Nighthawk. What's up, William? Thank you for being here. William had just done a show earlier today on missing people out of Alaska. And I happened to catch a little bit of it this afternoon and talking about the underground cave systems and tunnels and deep underground military bases and all that. And I'm sure we'll talk about that a little bit tonight. He said it's a shame that people don't realize the connection of missing people to cave systems and the underground waterways to lava tubes. Yeah, that's true, William. Thank you so much for reminding me of that.
Very true. And in the area of Townsend, Tennessee, there are 10,000 known caves. Caves. In that little area around Townsend.
Oh my gosh. Well, I do have a map here of the cave systems in the United States. So the map on the bottom, the pink one, is the one that has the caves, the cave systems. And let me tell you, that it's all up the Appalachian Mountains right there. And and right where the Great Smoky Mountains are, down there in the biggest chunk of blue right there. Right there. So lots of caves. I've explored caves in Tennessee myself, and we did a skinwalker investigation up in North Tennessee, and that was dumb, but it was fun, Greg. It was one of the more, I don't want to say reckless. It wasn't reckless, but it was like, man, what were we doing? Went to a literal cave, skinwalker cave. Yeah, we did it. It was fun.
What were you doing?
I can check it off the list now. I did it.
Nah, okay. I'm not going in the cave. Nope. But here's why. Okay, if you're out exploring in a cave looking for a cryptid, what happens when you come across one?
Well, it's going to suck if you have to shoot at something because it's just going to collapse the cave around you probably.
Yeah.
So you're just going to have to, and if you try to run, your feet are stuck in the mud because the mud's so thick.
Yeah.
Where we were.
And I bet you that cryptid can traverse that cave like nobody's business.
They can scale the walls.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what I'm saying. And I hadn't scaled a wall lately. I don't know about you, but I hadn't. This gravitas, just not going to get up on the wall. Sorry.
I don't know. Maybe that's what you need for a superpower.
I don't go to cave.
No. I went into the cave. It was actually really nice because it was so hot out there. It was in the middle of the summer, and the cave was like 30 degrees cooler than it was outside, at least. and it was nice. But I did not like going past the very beginning of that cave because it was really creepy. And we were catching a lot of paranormal activity in that cave. And the guys went so far back in it, I believe they came across a pale crawler towards the very back when their rope ran out. They couldn't go further because their ropes ran out. And something, one of my buddies whistled in the cave, Greg. Don't whistle in a cave. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like hanging a pork chop around your neck.
Yeah. Well, we basically are just Bigfoot burritos and pork chops for pale crawlers, skinwalkers. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, it's good. I don't taste good. So I'm a clown, so I must taste funny.
Oh my gosh. I like to think I taste funny too. So hopefully they'll leave me alone. I hope so. William says, I still think your skinwalker case was a trickster shapeshifter. You called them mimics. Yes. Something else, but I know we're here to talk about missing people, of course, and they do pertain to the caves. But speaking of mimics, Greg, I don't know if I've ever, I don't know if I've told you this. Maybe I have. But one of the more profound things that happened to me out at the meadow was I was hiking in with Tim, one of the gentlemen who has passed away now. But Tim and I were hiking in the meadow with his daughter. She was there. She's a teenager. And as we were walking down the trail to get out to the meadow, I heard a woman's voice scream out, "Time travel." And I was like, "What is that?" And they were like, "Well, they didn't hear it." I was like, "Well, I heard a woman say time travel." And it was weeks later, I realized that was my voice. It was so shocking, Greg. I could not understand that. I kept saying it, and over in my head, I kept hearing it. Now I finally realized that was me.
Yeah. I've had the same thing happen when we were in Whitesboro over at McIntosh Reserve.
Oh yeah, in Georgia.
In Georgia, right?
I go there pretty often. Yeah.
And we were there. I don't even think we were filming. I think we were just Bigfooting, just a Bigfoot. And I was over at one of the bathhouses, and Janice had just gotten there. She's unloading her things, and she heard in my voice, "Hey, Janice." And she said it came out from up under her truck. And she thought it was me, right? Playing a trick. I play games all the time, right? She thought it was me playing games with her. But I was at the bathhouse. Then she said, something grabbed her ankle. And then she was mad at me because she thought I was doing that. Yeah, she thought I was doing that. So when I came back from the bathhouse, she was kind of perturbed with me, and like, "Why are you playing tricks on me?" And I'm like, "Whatever. I was at the bathhouse." And honestly, I didn't pay her any mind until later on that night. I was going to get up and use the bathroom, I unzipped the tent, and I heard, "Hey, Janice," in my voice. And I said out loud, "Nope." And I zipped the tent back up. And Brent, my camera guy, an editor or former editor, he just happened to be up, and he says, "I heard that." Yeah.
Greg, that's horrible. That's really scary. It's really cool too. But that's weird.
Yeah. So that's happened. And it happened again in North Georgia. Where I had this, my mentor was there, and we were there on an expedition with a bunch of people, and his name is Paul Halsey, and I was off with a group.
I know Mr. Halsey.
Yeah, he's passed away now.
He has. I met him at the Alabama Bigfoot conference where I think I met you there, actually. The first time I met you was when he was there. Yeah, long time ago, a few years ago.
Yeah, and Paul heard in my voice, "Hey, Paul." And it came from behind the outhouse out in the primitive area. And whatever it was trying to lure him behind that outhouse. And again, he thought it was me, and I was way off somewhere else. So
can you imagine what's going through his head? He's like, why would Greg be calling me behind the bathroom? I bet he had a million things going through his head. Like, what? You weirdo.
No, Greg. Weirdo. You weirdo.
Dang, Greg. That is weird.
There's people here.
Oh my gosh. Okay. But let's get back to Janice though. That's really because I know Janice. Janice has been out in the meadow with us when I was there, and she's a sweet lady, man. And to have something, one of my worst fears as a kid was something grabbing my ankles from under my bed, or I grew up in a log cabin, and our staircase going upstairs, had spaces in between it. And when I was a kid, I would hide underneath it and grab my ankles and the feet of my brother and my sister to scare them at night. And I was always scared somebody would do that to me, or a monster would do that. But imagine having that happen out in the woods like that at McIntosh.
Some really weird things happened at McIntosh. That the crawler that we got on film, I'm pretty sure it was Bigfoot. I was talking with some other people who kind of turned us on to that place, and he said that there was a juvenile that gets caught pretty often. I don't know, maybe he's, kind of mentally challenged or something, juvenile Bigfoot, because he gets caught all the time, trying to crawl up on somebody, and people are like, oh, and then there he is, and he crawls away, or he vanishes, cloaks, whatever you want to call it.
I need to go back out there.
What happened was, I think he was like phased or something right up underneath the truck, and it was him mimicking, and maybe he grabbed her. He actually did grab her ankle.
Ew. Well, you know what? The backstory behind McIntosh Reserve, by the way, for the audience, because I'm sure a lot of people have no idea who Chief McIntosh was. And I don't know the full story behind it, but he was there was a massacre that happened on that land of Chief McIntosh and all his sons. His entire family was taken out right there. Yeah,
he was the chief, and he sold all the land to the government.
Yeah, he did.
He sold out all the creeks. Yeah,
that's what he was looked at as, kind of like he betrayed his tribe.
Betrayed his. He was he was half breed. He was half Indian, half Caucasian. Yeah. And I guess he didn't really have any loyalty toward any one of them. He just had loyalty toward himself.
Money.
Probably.
And
like I said, he sold the land, out from up under all the creek there, and they got pretty pissed about it.
I'd be mad too. Okay.
I would be too. Somebody sold my house.
Exactly. Well, the Trail of Tears have gone right through there too, because that's not too far from, my grandparents' house was right down the road from there. And the Trail of Tears went right through their property.
I saw my first ghost there. I didn't believe in ghosts until I saw one there. Really? I saw an Indian on a horse materialize right in front of me and Janice, and it rode across the field there, got to the tree line, and disappeared.
Wow. Was it solid, like a solid person?
Solid. Very solid. We used Brent as a guinea pig. We said, hey, Brent, go over there, because he didn't see it. He didn't know what I was talking about, right? So he went over there to where we saw it, and the how they looked was identical. The opacity of them was identical.
Really?
So it was solid.
Man, I need to go out there sometime. I'm not going by myself, though. Not with something creeping up on people and grabbing ankles. I don't like that feeling. I had a weird experience there one time. When I first started out, first time I was there, you could hear these things walking around, and you would think you could be able to see them, right? But it gets to a position where you think you can see it and you can't see it. So I was like looking at some orbs, and something came up like right up in my ear and went, oh,
made a sound identical to that.
Oh no. Oh my gosh. So they'd like to get up close and personal is what you're saying out there.
Yeah.
And they will touch you and call people behind the bathhouse, and that's weird. That's really wild. Sovereign Cosmic Wildman. Thank you for being here, Sovereign. He says, Greg shared a story on another channel. This is exactly the story that happened at Aseti Ranch. So this is not just happening at like one location. A lot of people are reporting these things, just like me up in North, actually at the Meadow, undisclosed location. I had my voice. It was a mimic of my voice saying time travel. Or maybe, Greg, I like to think I'm a time traveler, and I just happened to time travel over there. There were two of them.
Could be. Have you had missing time?
I've had missing time plenty of times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had missing time, involved. And we experienced a lot of this during the making of our first film. And it was so out there, because I had not experienced any of this before, and I hadn't talked to anybody. Nobody had ever heard of me, because I purposely did not want to cloudy my judgment on the results of my film, right? So we purposefully didn't put some of this weird stuff in the film because we thought it was just so weird, so out there. Nobody would believe it until I started finally talking with other people. And I was like, wow, other people are experiencing this. What is this we experience? And that was actually my motivation for making The Land Between the Lakes. And, the first person I hit up was Trey and the Meadow Project. And I read that book and I was like, wow, we've experienced that. So I wanted to learn a little bit more about that. That was the whole reasoning behind making my second film.
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, if there's anything that's ever happened, we do call it the Skinwalker Ranch of the South. It's happened at the Meadow or somewhere else. I mean, it is outrageous the amount of strange activity we've had out there. And it's not just cryptids. It's not just ETs and missing time. I mean, it's mimics, like I was saying, and it's portals and all that. I mean, just a lot of paranormal phenomenon. Okay. And so this is an interesting comment right here because I'm reading some of the comments in the chat tonight. Thank you guys so much for leaving comments and participating in our live chat tonight. I love you guys. It says, Main House says, me neither, but I had a great uncle who went out and unalived a bobcat for calling his name late one evening. A bobcat called his great uncle's name out in the middle of the night. What does that sound like?
Those ain't bobcats. As we would call them here in Alabama.
I would have a bobcat headdress the next day or something. Okay. I was just saying, like, I don't know.
Like those not deer, we call them ain't deer.
Oh my God. Ain't deer.
They ain't deers.
The ain't deers. Oh man. That's really weird though. Like animals having human characteristics like that. But of course we got like dog men that are like dog men. And stuff, but
it's so weird. I don't know what to think about dog man. But the more I learn about them, I think they've been around for a very, very long time. And I think that's what our, ancestors wrote about when they said werewolves or whatever. Granted, they could be two different things. However, the end result of them, it turns out to be the same. There's half wolf, half man looking thing. So to my knowledge, I'm not yet to experience a dog man, but it's coming. Maybe
you will. You want it. It's always when you least expect it. I think I've run into a couple of them leaving out of a wildlife management area in the Talladega National Forest in Alabama. This was July maybe of this year, and I was like, why are there African dogs on the side of the road? I was like, there's African dogs out here in Alabama. What the heck? And I was like, wait, that's a bear. I was like, wait, no, it's a panther. Like, what the hell am I looking at? It was really odd. A lot of strange things. Almost, I don't want to say cartoonish, but it was just something like I could not figure out what I was looking at. And that's a weird feeling.
It is, because you get perplexed. Yeah. When you are truly perplexed, it's a weird feeling.
It is.
It really is. It's like when I was looking at that portal, I was perplexed. I promise you, because I was looking into somewhere that, nobody had ever seen before.
Oh yeah. Well, what do you think? I guess I would love to ask you some questions about some of the things that you featured in your films and some of the cases you featured in your film with the vanished. And I know I've actually sat down with you and talked about the Dennis Martin case out of the Great Smoky Mountains. But there's another case, speaking about perplexed, there's a gentleman that you have featured in your film who went missing. And, we've talked about on my channel all the missing 411 cases, the clusters of missing people. There's a big old cluster right there in the Great Smoky Mountains of missing people. And I think that this gentleman that you're featuring on your film would qualify as one of those missing people and probably one of those clusters, right?
He is. His name is Mike Hearon, or his name was Mike Hearon. He was in his 50s. He had no known enemies. He was just an average guy, just living his life. He went out riding on his four-wheeler one day. He had seen a couple of people. He waved at them. We kind of went down the trail at where he was at, and there he is. And then just mysteriously vanished, just without a trace. He wasn't robbed. because his wallet and all that was still left in his truck. Uh, it, there's just no information about what happened to Mike. Yeah, he's there in the Happy Valley area of the Great Smoky Mountains. Now, we did an investigation there at the Happy Valley area. Uh, um, Adam Davies had a theory about what could have happened to Mike, and we went out to test the validity of that theory. And I say that it's got some legs to it. And you know, while we were there, just weird stuff happened. And you know, personally, I wouldn't want to live there. Just too many weird things happen. But you know, he had been there, or his family had been there for generations. You know, they all knew each other. It was sort of like one big family. There wasn't, you know, ginseng doesn't really grow there. So it couldn't be these ginseng farmers or these ginseng people go out and, ooh, you're stealing my ginseng, going to get you. But if, you know, even if there would have been a body or something, it would have at least turned up, you know.
Mm-hmm.
If it was an animal, you know, there would have been, you know, something would have been left behind if an animal would have got him. There's just nothing out there that shows what happened to him. There's no information on it, and it's a true mystery. But we go out and we investigate this, and we see that there's some weird things that happens in that area right there.
Well, I can imagine a lot of weird stuff goes down in the Appalachians, and I focus. I feel like my show is kind of focused. I really do highlight the Appalachian Mountains and the Great Smoky Mountains, the North Georgia Mountains, all through the Southeast. Mm-hmm. And we have not only all these missing persons, but we have, I mean, I've been shown when I was up in Cherokee, North Carolina, in that area, I was shown where the entrance to like deep underground military bases are up there. And well, alleged, okay.
Alleged.
This is for entertainment purposes only.
That's right.
But I was shown some very interesting things. Not only was I taken around to even the places around Cherokee where all the Bigfoot sightings had been, and there were a lot of Bigfoot sightings up there, but I was taken up to Judaculla Rock where they had Sukalu, the legend of the giant.
Yeah, the slam giant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always wanted to go to Judaculla Rock. But I tell you, one of those strangest things while we were in Happy Valley, we kept hearing these metal sounds out in the woods.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and, you know, they're strange. And I just happened to be on that segment. And, you know, they are caught. We did catch them on audio. But they're so weird, you know, because we were way out where there were no cars. We were miles deep into the forest, right? You know, we were seeing orbs. You know, it's just these metal sounds. They were distant at first, and then they started getting closer and closer to us. So, you know, I've kind of wondered, what does this portal sound like when it either opens or closes?
Well, that's a good question, because the ones that we've experienced made no noise. And I've experienced at least one in my base camp that made no noise, but there was commotion because something was coming out of it. So there was a commotion that was heard by the head of my team, who got up and started running quickly towards it to find out what that noise was. And but we don't hear about that very often, but we do hear about metal banging in the woods, the land between the lakes, actually, Greg. You've been up there several times, and done a whole documentary, you know, featuring the land between the lakes. Metal banging, it sounds like doors closing, or it sounds like a garbage can is being dumped, like dropped from the air down to the ground. And in my opinion, can I tell you what I think it is? And this is from remote viewing some incidences that happen up there in the land between the lakes. I think there's some kind of facility underground there, and I think they may be opening and closing doors or something from that facility.
It could be,
but I don't know.
It could be. I don't know. All I know is when we're at the Land Between the Lakes, we heard the metal sounds, and these were similar. But the ones we heard there at Happy Valley they started off a little bit distant, and then they started getting closer, and then closer, and then closer. And we knew that there was a storm coming, but I mean, right as it got really, really close to us, this storm just hit and was like, hey, we got to get out of here, because it was a major storm come in. And I'm glad we got out, because there were trees falling down just all over the place. We catch all that, and there's trees across the road in front of us.
Oh, wow.
It took us forever to get back to the hotel that night. And, speaking of feral people, we turned into feral people when we got back to the hotel, because in Townsend, they don't have like a normal sewer system and water system. They're all on wells over there.
Oh, well, that's actually a good thing, right?
Well, it is until you're out of water for 3 days.
Oh, yeah, that sucks. That's true. I grew up on well water too, actually. Yeah. So when it rains, the water would always turn brown. Our water would turn brown if it rained too much.
Yeah.
I take a brown bath when I was a kid a lot of times. Dirt in my hair.
So,
yeah.
There's nothing wrong with well water, but we were in a motel and we didn't have any water for 3 days.
Oh, dang. Well, you should have just gone camping then. It would have been the same thing.
Well, I would have, but usually when I go filming, it's a whole lot of gear that I bring with me. It's a lot of gear.
Yeah. It's expensive gear too if you're filming.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't want to mess that up.
But, we turned into feral people after 3 days without water.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't flush the bathroom at all.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's when you go to the store and you buy a bunch of gallon jugs of water, and then I know, growing up as a kid, and us, if we ever something happened with the well water too. Listen, I know how to MacGyver stuff at this point in my life. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little MacGyver Junior.
Yeah. We were trying to catch water, coming out of the gutters and all kinds of stuff,
But y'all never figured out what the metal sounds were out there. You never figured out?
No, we didn't, because the weather changed so drastically after that front came through. Mm-hmm. I thought we would have gotten away from the snow and all that, but we didn't. When that front came through, it actually snowed that night, and it was just very cold the next day. And I don't operate well in the really, really cold.
Right. I feel you. Listen, our teams are usually out in all types of weather, of weather, snow, rain. Usually it's raining. It's either raining or it's 125 degrees outside.
No, I don't operate in that either.
Or snowing.
I sweat too much. I'm a big boy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. We have a question in the chat real quick though. We in regard to Michael Hearon, Corey would like to know, did they find his ATV? And I think the answer is yes.
Yes, they did find his ATV, and it was parked in a place that was unusual. So that was one of the strange things about it. And you would think if he was robbed, somebody would have gotten his ATV. So it was just so weird. So weird what happened to him,
Yeah.
And we come up with a few theories about what could have happened. Perhaps it was people that was unfamiliar with the area and accidentally killed him and took his body off somewhere and just hid it, or maybe he was chasing a cryptid that didn't like him chasing it and took him. That's a possibility too. There's maybe he didn't fly off a ditch or anything because his ATV was parked. Mm-hmm. It was parked. It wasn't just you just got off. It was parked. So don't know what happened to it.
Well, they also. So I was watching. I this evening I watched a couple videos on it, and his son was saying that he had left his wallet, his keys, like all the stuff that he had, like that he would need, like credit cards, driver's license, all that stuff was left on his counter. Like he just took the 4-wheeler out, or whatever kind of ATV he was on. He just took it out to go joyriding, basically, and was never seen again. Vanished. And actually, it's interesting because when the news reporters were reporting on this 5 years or 8 years later after this had happened, she said he just vanished. And I thought it was interesting because the name of your documentary is Vanished. And that happens all too often when people up in the Smoky Mountains like him.
You know, there was lots of other people that had gone missing in the national forest, and I do want to say this, where I don't want to give more importance on the ones that we put our documentary on, because everybody that's gone missing is as important as everybody else. It's just you have to. You have to choose somebody to do your story on if you want to do it well. And these are just the two people that we chose. And it's nothing against the other peoples who have gone missing in that area.
Well, if you take, for instance, the David Paulides Missing 411 books, if you read all the different chapters, it's like a different person who's gone missing out of the national parks. And once you start reading it, you get it through the book, it's like, wow, it actually sounds kind of like a different person, same scenario for a lot of these stories. I mean, there are signs, there are things that are similar in a lot of these cases. Like, I'm always telling people, I'm like, look, if you got kids out there with you, make sure that child is right beside you. You're holding on to their hand, or, not letting them walk too far ahead and not letting them hang back behind everybody. That's one of the things. You got to put the kids in the middle. Okay. Don't go pick berries. Okay.
Nope. That's what happened to
things, right?
That's what happened to Dennis Martin. Back in 1969, they were just off on a camping trip. And there was some people, told his dad he's going to go scare some of his friends or whatever, went behind a tree, and then they never saw him again.
Yeah.
Never saw him again.
Actually, okay, so I know this is not the Smoky Mountains, but I was tasked with a blind target, and it turned out to be out in Mount Shasta. I think, is that in Washington or California? I think it's in Washington. I don't know. Mount Shasta. It's Washington, yes. And listen, you can tell I'm from Georgia. I don't know anything past the Mississippi, okay?
Yeah.
So
Nothing counts past the Mississippi.
I don't know. It's all California. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. I'm just kidding, y'all. I'm kidding. But there was a case. I can't remember what year was this. Let's see. Let me pull it up on my other computer here. I can't remember the year that this happened. But there was in 2011. So it wasn't that long ago. 2011. There was a case. It was at Fowler's Campground in Northern California, actually. Mount Shasta. A 3.5-year-old boy went missing, and he was at a campground with his family. The parents turned around, and in a blink of an eye, he was gone. And they, searched for him for a while. There was no trace of this child anywhere. 3.5 years old is tiny. Okay, that's tiny, and I can imagine the terror that family went through. But this child was, hours later, he was found by a search crew who had searched the same area over and over again by this campground. But what the child said later on, weeks later, no one questioned where he went. They were just happy that they found him. But when they found him, or after they found him, he went home. He was being babysitted by his grandma. And this case, by the way, has become known as the robot grandma. Okay, because what he said was, well, I didn't like my other grandma, Cappy. And she was like, well, what are you talking about? He said, well, she asked what happened to him. He goes, I don't like that other grandma, Cappy. She was mean. She was a robot. He said she was a robot. She was like, what are you talking about? He said that he disappeared because this woman who he looked just like his grandmother had come out of the woods and took his hand and guided him into a cave. And he thought it was his grandma. He said it wasn't until he got inside the cave and saw something glisten on her face that he realized that she was not human and that she was a robot. And then was grandma, so what do you mean by robot? He said she was like you could use a remote control to control her, is what he said. But she looked just like his grandma, but it wasn't his grandma. And he said that when he went, he explained that when he went inside this cave with her, there were mannequins and belongings of people, wallets, shoes, clothing, and things, personal items that were covered in cobwebs. And this woman took him in there and was trying to do like take samples from him and stuff, and said, hey, don't be scared. We actually put you in your mommy's belly. Now, this is a 3.5-year-old child, Greg. What? I don't think a 3.5-year-old could make this up on his own. What? And she was taking like stool samples and stuff from him. And she was like, we're just here to check up on you. And I'm going to take you back to your parents. Just relax, And when she got done taking the samples, she said that they had actually put him in his mommy's belly, is what she told him. And when she was done, she went and put him in a bush. She was like, look, I'm going to leave you here and you're going to be okay. They're going to find you. And I've remote viewed it. It's on my Patreon. If anybody wants to, I got on my playlist. We did a whole show on it. And it is fantastic and fascinating. But the grandma, I got to tell you what happened with the grandma. When the grandma heard this, all these thoughts started rushing in her head. And she thought, well, almost 1 year exactly prior to him going missing, she and her friends were camping at that same great campground called Fowler Campground. And she said that she remembers waking up one morning face down outside of her tent with a puncture wound on the back of her neck and blood streaming out of her neck. And she didn't know how she got there. And her friends that she was camping with, the husband of her friend woke up with blood on his neck out of his bed with a puncture wound on his neck too. And they could not figure out what had happened to them. But I don't know. It sounds like maybe there was some kind of weird ET cloning or something going on.
That's what it sounds like to me. Some kind of ET cloning, or I don't know what kind of business is going on there, but it doesn't sound kosher.
It doesn't. It doesn't. It's a fascinating story though. Robot grandma at Mount Shasta. Yeah. We got to kind of take all these cases, right? So like I was saying with the David Paulides stuff, it's like there's so many missing people and we can't focus on all of them. But, he's done a good job of like kind of cataloging a lot of the cases, and they're so similar. Okay. They're all different, but they're just so similar. And it's where we start seeing the patterns where maybe we can start making more sense of all this, Greg, is we got to look for the patterns and connect the dots.
Yeah. Now, when we went out and investigated Mike Hearon, like I said, I went out and checked the veracity of some of Adam's claims of what could have happened. And, I saw a Bigfoot not, 20 to 50 miles or so as the crow flies from that area. And, that's not far for a Bigfoot to travel. But, yeah, I mean, we know there's more than just one, right? And I also spoke to a national park ranger, and he wouldn't tell me this on camera, but I got to know him. Yeah. He showed me on a map where I could go find feral people. He said, if you want to go find them, here they are. He said, view of their existences. He said, they're there. He said, be careful because they'll kill you. And they'll probably eat you, but or they'll unalive you. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Do you tell them you smell weird, so they won't eat you, or you taste weird? What'd you say? You tasted weird earlier.
Yeah. I'm a clown, so I taste funny.
Taste funny. Don't worry about me. I taste weird.
Yeah.
They don't want me.
Yeah, they don't want me. But
the hills have eyes, though.
It was so remote. I wasn't going to go there. But not lugging a whole bunch of camera gear. But he said he had been there, and yeah, they're there, and there's more than you think.
Huh. Well, what's shocking to me is like hearing about, in some of these national forests, there are off-grid living situations, let's just say, of like religious cults and stuff. And that's more common than we might think as well.
It is, and we touch on that in the film. There was a witness that contacted Adam, and she was up on the parkway there, and she was just there, enjoying the view, and here come these 12 robed hooded figures just coming out of the woods, and they were all chanting,
Yeah.
you know. And we're like, and she was terrified, right? Because well, I don't know exactly what all happened after that, because it gets kind of fuzzy from what she said. But you're talking about the cults. I don't know what kind of cult that is, that they're still wearing these hoods, and they're still going out chanting, and there's all sorts of oddities that can happen there in the Smoky Mountains. And it's not just cryptids. I mean, it's not, there's bears. A bear can get you, right? You can fall into a cave. You can just be walking along and whoop, you can just fall into one. Nobody will ever find you. The portals exist. You can walk into a portal.
Yeah.
Where are you going to go? You might go somewhere else or whatever. I don't know what happens to you when you walk in a portal. I don't want to find out either.
No.
I'm
not going in a portal. I will never volunteer to go in the portal. You know that we had to come up with a protocol, right? After that portal incident, and it involved tying a rope around some of the guy's waist, not mine. I wouldn't do it.
In June, we're going to go out to Oregon for where Adam saw his portal. My goal is to fly a drone through one.
Oh, yes.
I don't want to go in it myself, but
that would be interesting. You know what? That just made me think of Mel's Hole. Are you familiar with Mel's Hole?
I am.
Okay, that was one of my remote viewing targets too, and that was wild. There were two of us that had been given that as a target, and I was like coming up with like wormholes and a lot of radiation. Okay, and a lot of this phenomena has a lot of radiation. I would assume it might mess up your equipment a little bit.
Yeah, it does. And I've kind of theorized that that's what happens to some of our equipment sometimes. Is it some of it just gets fried, with the radiation, or an EM pulse or something comes through, because you could go into some areas and your equipment was working fine, and walk 100 feet and your equipment just dies. You walk back out, it's working fine. Walk back in, it dies. Because there's something there that's making your equipment not work. And we've experienced that a lot.
Yeah. You're probably just going in and out of different dimensions and timelines. And I saw this post online. I posted it on my social media today or yesterday. And it was like, no one can prove that this is wild, when we go to sleep, no one is able to prove if we wake up in another world or the same world that we went to sleep in. Isn't that weird?
It is weird.
Yeah. Portaling all over the place.
Your mind when you go to sleep? Are you actually able to access other realms? Is that what your dreams are? You're actually in a different reality.
I know. I had a really interesting guest on Monday, Dr. Ram, Dr. Richard Allen Miller. He's a cool dude. He said, what is death? He's like, what happens when you die? I was like, what? He goes, you wake up. That's what he said. Death is when we wake up. He said, this is all a dream. He's like, we just live in a big dream. And I think we might. I don't know. I live a crazy life, and my dreams are crazy too. So I can't tell the difference between my dreams and my waking life sometimes. So
yeah. Well, back in January, my mom passed away. But right before she passed away, this right before, I was at her feet just looking, and she had just had a really massive seizure, and she had actually died for a minute, and then her heart started. She started I think it was just automatic breathe, just the body mechanically working at that point. But right after that, I sat at her feet and was just watching her, because it wasn't long. And I saw this. It looked like a jellyfish, sort of, and it came out of her and it was white. And it shot up about a foot and disappeared. but it looked like an energy jellyfish, sort of, and it woof, and came out, and that that moment, it made me sad and happy all at the same time, because I kind of took that as, okay, she's not hurting anymore, she's not in pain anymore, and she's still alive, and I just saw her leave.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we just move on and into the next realm. And I'm so sorry for your loss, Greg.
No,
That's heartbreaking.
it happened. She lived a long life.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's interesting with the jellyfish. It's like it was like her energy, her soul.
Yeah.
You watched it.
Yeah. I watched that.
Ascend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually beautiful.
Well, that's why it was it was such sweet sorrow.
Yeah.
But it was energy, and it was quick. And if you'd have looked away for an instant, you would have missed it. It was real quick, and it only went up maybe a foot and a half or so, maybe, before it dissipated and just disappeared. But when it first came out, you could see the opacity was pretty solid. And then as it went up, it completely vanished about that far away. So
wow.
Yeah, and so I don't know how to explain it, other than it was her spirit or soul, whatever you want to call it. It was her energy. She moved on.
Yeah, well, we are more than this physical body. I say that all the time.
Oh yes, we are, definitely.
We are much more.
Most definitely. And I've seen a lot of things over the years, a lot of weird things, and I know that we were never told the whole story, and I don't know if we have enough time left as far as humanity to wake up again. Because we have to overcome a lot of a lot of things that aren't true.
Oh yeah, we have to unlearn everything we've been taught.
Yeah, be Yoda.
Because ain't nothing the truth.
Nerd.
That's right.
Yeah.
We've been lied to about everything, man.
Yeah, we have.
We have.
But speaking of vanished, where's that trailer?
Let's watch that trailer real quick, and then we'll talk a little bit about the Dennis Martin case a little bit. And I'm super excited now. You did have another person remote view the Dennis Martin case as well.
Yes, I did.
I didn't know that until right before the show started.
Yes, I did.
And I'm excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll talk about that after we watch the trailer. Okay, so let me pull the trailer up. You guys, this is a Relic Film exclusive. And Greg, do you want to set it up, or should we just play it?
Just go ahead and play.
Just play it. Okay.
Speaks for itself.
Okay, it might take me just a second. I'm slow. Okay, the Vanished trailer. Here we go. I hope everybody can hear this. Hold on, I gotta share it. All right. All right, give me just a second. Let me pull it up. And here we go.
It was in August 2008 that one of the greatest mysteries on disappearing people happened in this very spot.
I picked up on a person because I was getting the missing person data, and I wrote missing person. So I did what we do in remote viewing. It's called deep mind probe.
You kill these things.
What things?
Do you think his body is still in that area?
I think I'm going to need to get a team together.
coming January 31st.
I'm excited.
All right. Greg, I got to say, that looks really good.
Thank you.
It does.
It is really good. Like I said, it's different from my other films. It's a bit darker. It's a lot darker. There's not a lot of happy moments in it. I'm going to tell you that there's not, because I tried not to make light of the situation, and I wanted the film to reflect the situation. And it really does. It's really unnerving. That's the best way to put it. It's unnerving.
Well, okay, I have to ask. I know you don't want to give the show away, okay, but you brought another remote viewer in, and was she overviewing or viewing the Dennis Martin case too, just like me? And what were her results? Were her results kind of like mine?
Hey, I would say her results were almost identical to yours.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. It's actually sad, honestly. Like, we'll talk about the case in a minute, but I'm just glad to have some backup on that. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I try not to take one source of information, especially, with something that I don't know about. You try to get multiple pieces, and if those pieces of the puzzle, if they match, well, you got something there, right?
That's right. That's right.
And I was so shocked. I was shocked at the results.
Oh yeah.
And how accurate remote viewers can be.
Oh yeah. Well, thank you. I'm super excited. I cannot wait to see this premiere. I will be there at the premiere in January, of course.
And you'll be speaking, right?
And I'm gonna be speaking too. Yes. I can't stop talking, Greg. Everywhere I go, I talk about something. But I will get a microphone and I will bring a presentation and we'll talk. What would you like for me to talk about? Dennis Martin? You want me to talk about missing people or just Dogman and Bigfoot? I don't know. We'll talk, I guess.
Yeah, we'll talk.
Does it matter?
It could be your first date, whatever,
I'm talking about.
Talk about your first date. I don't care what you talk about. Yeah, you can talk about whatever you want to talk about.
That. Yeah. That's boring. I don't know. Yeah, it'll be a great time. I know.
You do you.
I'll do me.
Dictator.
Okay. Well, I do a lot of my cryptid research out in Alabama, and that's where we're going to be out in Alabama for the premiere. And yeah, I've done some pretty intense dogman investigations out there up at Bankhead Forest and
Bankhead, that's where a lot of my first film was done.
Really?
I think Bankhead is just weird.
It is weird. We hiked in over 5 miles, Greg. I haven't talked to you about this. We hiked in over 5 miles and we did a bivouac basically. I set up a hammock out there, but we spent the weekend out there where some of our friends had been surrounded by dogmen and didn't know if they were going to survive the night when they were out there. And as we were getting there, oh no, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. But when we were hiking in, this man comes walking out of the woods, Greg, holding a stone. And he was like, "Hey, do y'all know about dragons?" And we're like, "Have I not told you about this?"
No.
Okay. He was like, "This is a piece of a dragon's wing." And he said, "This is from a petrified dragon." He said, "I've been coming out here, and this is so weird. How random is that? I mean, there's nobody out there. It's in the middle of nowhere. And this man comes out holding a rock, limestone, and it's got a curve to it. It looks like a piece of a dragon's wing." He said, "I'll take you to it. I've been coming out here for years. My wife hikes the trails while I clean off my dragon." And he had a brush in his hand, and he goes out there and he brushed the limbs and the debris off this dragon. He said, "You go over here, you're going to hike over its wing." And sure enough, it looked exactly like a dragon. I'll send you pictures of it. I'll send you the coordinates one day if you want to go see it. But
wow.
Yeah, it's amazing. I call it my Alabama dragon. It's not mine, but to me, it's in my heart now. Okay, but it's a dragon. Its body made up the entire hill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, if dragons were real, I mean, you would expect for it to be that big.
It was huge. It was. I could have ridden on it. It was like bigger than a charter bus.
Yeah. Well, dinosaurs are that big, so.
Yeah. It might have been a dinosaur.
Well, that's kind of why I mean, to me, if I can kind of see something like blowing fire out of its mouth, because you can. That's not unrealistic. You got bugs that shoot out acid and stuff. Out of
That's
their
right.
rear ends. So it's not unheard of, or not impossible, I guess, for something to spit out two liquids that combine together that combust, right? So
Yeah.
I could see that happening at one point. And if you want to call that a dragon, okay. But I don't know if I could see them flying, being that heavy. Unless they got some jet propulsion up under them or something. I don't know.
Or some acidic something coming out of their backside, like you just
Yeah.
said.
Yeah. Maybe they ate
funny.
Taco Bell or something back then or something. I don't know. I don't know.
Who knows? Who knows? This world is we've been lied to about everything.
We have. We certainly have. Who knows?
Oh man.
But yeah.
Sovereign, you're gonna like that talk. I know. I've got my friend Sovereign in here. He likes to talk about farts. Okay.
Oh God.
And it's always it's always in the chat. It's been in the chat several times tonight, by the way. So right up the alley tonight.
Yeah. But, the last outing, Jamie was doing that. It was horrible. Absolutely horrible.
Jamie is going to. Oh, you're going to get it next time she sees you.
Oh, wow.
This is for entertainment purposes only, and it's probably not true. Okay.
Oh, it is true. It was horrible.
Jamie, you're welcome to come on my show and to counterbalance this one day.
I was like, oh God, Jamie.
Jamie, just
Jamie, come on, girl. Wow.
Greg.
Anyway.
I tell you what, y'all. Jamie, you are welcome to come on here and you can talk all you want about Greg. Okay. I'll let y'all duke it out. But anyways. Okay, so let's just say Bakehead Forest, for instance, and that is a place where they have a lot of, I'm going to say, like violent kind of Bigfoot encounters.
Yes,
a little more aggressive. Aggressive is a better word. I think.
Aggressive is a much better word. I don't personally know of anybody that's been attacked by one out there, and personally, I don't know of anybody that's been attacked by a Bigfoot at all. However, the ones there in Bankhead do get particularly aggressive. Yes. And I don't know if they're like playing with you or what, but they'll surround you in there.
They did. And
they'll make you really think that you're going to die. Mm-hmm. They will make you think that. Like, I understand that feeling because that's the way we felt when we were at the Land Between the Lakes. In that situation there. And I tell you, a lot of people don't know this about Adam Davies. He was in the British military, and his job was to go out and hunt down warlords and war criminals. And he's been in firefights and all sorts of things, and very life-threatening situations. And when this thing started growling at us there, his military training kicked in. It's like, okay, we're going to push this thing back. And every time we took a step forward, it would just growl at us, rah. And eventually, we were successful in pushing it back into the woods. And then all of a sudden, rocks and stuff started being thrown at us from our left. And I said, hey, we got rocks thrown from the left. And then Adam turned around, and you could kind of see it in his face. He's like, oh my God, they're flanking us. And to him, that was a military tactic, and he said that is when he said that he was actually really concerned about his life going home that day.
Like they were trained to do that, or
yeah,
that's why.
Yeah, like they were working with a plan.
Yeah,
right.
Like Planet of the Apes, but
right. And he said he had underestimated how smart they were.
Oh man. Yeah, they're like real life guerrilla warfare.
Guerrilla warfare. Yeah.
Something like that.
Something like that. But but getting back to Bankhead, that's just one spooky place. Even in the daytime, you go there, it's spooky. Bankhead is there's I don't have a lot of comforting words to say about it. Other than it's pretty.
I've slept 5 miles hiking in a hammock, Greg, out there.
Yeah, when you were just a burrito.
4 guys.
Yeah.
5. Was it 4? Yeah, 4 guys and myself. There were 5 of us. And yeah, And oh, by the way, we went looking for Dogman, and then the next day we got up, and there were Bigfoot footprints all around. Like we ran into some Bigfoot prints, no Dogman prints, just Bigfoot. So whatever was out there, I think instead of it being Dogman, it was probably more likely aggressive Bigfoot. Actually, was our conclusion.
Yeah. Were you able to measure the footprints?
Yes, I can't remember how big they were. I've got pictures of them.
Okay, the ones that we came across there were 16 inches.
I think what we were getting actually were more toe prints, like because it was going up a hill, and so it was like a partial footprint, and it wasn't huge. Okay, so it wasn't like a huge print.
But I know of that there was at least two in there that hung out together. One was between the 8 and 9 foot range, and the other one was a much smaller one, probably only about 6 foot. He was a juvenile. Well, I say juvenile, younger Bigfoot.
Well, I've had reports out of there of dogmen with blue eyes, two dogmen with blue eyes. Yeah. So
I've not, like I said, I've not been that close to them to get a good look at their eyes.
It might have been eye shine, actually. I think it was eye shine. Yeah.
Well,
nobody got that close in the daytime to a dogman.
Now, when we were at the Land Between the Lakes, when the Bigfoot moved off into the woods, its eyes started glowing. It was a luminous glow. Now, some call it, I guess some people call it eye shine, and I guess their eyes would shine.
Well, there's two different things. There's the eye shine and there's eye glow. It's two different things. Yeah. The eye shine would be more like a reflective kind of thing, and then the eye glow is like it's self-illuminating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is what. Yeah, I take that back. When the thing was standing in front of my truck, and I was just petrified. When I say petrified, I didn't know what to do, but I was able to get its eyes. So yes, you're 100% correct. They do have their eyes do reflect, and I guess that's eye shine. And when it moved off into the woods, then its eyes started glowing. So I guess you're right, 100%. They have the two different things, going on.
Oh yeah. Well, okay. I've got some questions about the Smoky Mountains that I want to ask you too, and I want to thank Shelly Montgomery. Thank you so much, Shelly, for that super sticker. You're so sweet. Shelly says, "Jessica and Greg, what's up? Thank you so much. That's so sweet. I appreciate your support, Shelly. Thank you for being here. And also, Michelle, thank you for becoming a member of the Hunt Club tonight over here. I saw that too. Thank you, Michelle. That's so sweet. Okay, so I wanted to kind of get back into the feral people conversation just a little bit, because you were actually shown, I don't know if it was pointed out or on a map or whatever, there's like feral people by a park ranger or somebody showed you that. Now, some of the possibilities of what happened to Dennis Martin, and he is featured in your film. You and I talked about it. I'm on your film talking about it, and some of the possibilities of where he went were, people believe that he could have been taken by a feral person or a Bigfoot, of all things. Yes,
either one of the two could be very, very possible. Now, there was some data that somebody had got that I don't know if it was overlooked or what, but somebody had seen a figure that was kind of wearing some kind of skins, or just what it was described of, running up a hill, and it was carrying something on his shoulder, and it looked like something wearing a red shirt. Now, Dennis Martin was wearing a red shirt when he went disappearing. But one reason why it was dismissed is because it was so far away from the point where he had disappeared in such a short time. So so there was some data that if acted upon, maybe they could have found out what happened to him, but still it's a mystery.
Yeah, it is. Well, of course, we talk on your film about what my data said, and the people who are watching, my audience knows, we've talked about it before, and I do believe, according to my data, there probably was some kind of human trafficking involved with his disappearance, and I gotta say, I know this is all speculation, this is all rumor. That I'm not saying this is true, but I've been told that there's a lot of trafficking that goes on in the Smoky Mountains, and especially like, I don't know, Gatlinburg's in the Smoky Mountains, right?
Yes, it
And
is.
Pigeon Forge and stuff.
Mhm.
And there's certain places like Dollywood, I've been told that are kind of like Disney World when it comes to like, you got to watch your kids at places like that, because they do have a lot of underground tunnels and stuff like that. And unfortunately, I think that could be where a lot of these missing people, and especially the children, are probably going to places like that. So,
yeah. When I had done both remote viewers, I was wanting to compare the data.
yeah,
And the data came out nearly identical.
man,
Both mentioned this rock field.
really?
Yes. Both you guys mentioned that rock field. I don't know if you remember that or not.
No, I don't know.
But
I've got my
you
data
will.
right here. I can look at it.
Yeah, you will once you see the
Yeah.
film.
Are you gonna do like side by side comparisons? Hopefully.
They won't be side by side.
Okay.
They are one right after another.
I love that. Okay.
But you'll see the comparisons in there.
Okay.
But I wanted to contrast, but there's not much to contrast.
Yeah.
It just wasn't much there to contrast. I mean,
Wow.
the only other one, the other Tilly, she just knew that he was trafficked, but she didn't know where the body was.
Yeah.
She said, she said, I'm getting transportation, but I don't know where the body is. So, yeah.
Wow. Well, I can't wait to see your film. It is a tragedy. This little boy was only 6 years old, and this is on June 1969. Dennis Lloyd Martin walked off to play a largest search effort in the history of the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, and that is him right there. And he was never seen again. And it is absolutely just had to have been devastating for that family to have never seen their son ever again after that. And I mean, I would hope that, just shedding light on that and you including this in your documentary, I mean, and even having, remote viewers looking into this, maybe it will help bring a little bit more closure to the family, maybe, even though it's kind of dark, Greg.
It is.
It's kind of dark, and it's really sad.
Yeah,
but ultimately, I think everybody just would want closure, I would think.
Yeah, and I really do hate that for the families.
Yeah.
And in no way did we want to like reopen wounds for the families. And if they're any way offended, I really do hope they take my sincerest apologies. Not for us to offend them or reopen wounds or anything like that. But there is genuine interest in public interest in the missing. But it is so dark. It is so dark where the roads lead to.
It is.
However, the Mike Hearon case is not so satisfied.
Yeah.
The Dennis Martin case, to me, it's satisfied. To me, personally. But the Mike Hearon case is not. I think something else. Yeah, I think something else.
What do you mean something else? What do you mean, like something else?
Well, like I said, we went out to test the veracity of what Mike's Adam's theory was.
Okay.
Legs. I saw a Bigfoot there. Camera guy saw a Bigfoot there. It left 17.5-inch prints behind it. Okay. It was there. Not far from there. We encountered weird things. There's been multiple accounts of Bigfoots in that area. I talked with a ranger who says, yeah, feral people exist. They're up there. Okay.
Okay.
Wow. My personal opinion, he was gotten about one of those.
You think so?
Yeah. I think I think he was got by one of those.
So Adam actually went out there, and the young lady that's in the film that's out there with them. I mean, did they do a pretty thorough investigation?
Yes,
Okay.
Natalie is fantastic at research.
Mhm.
Fantastic. With Dennis Martin, she went through the FBI files and was just, she's very good at what she does at work, right? And she just applied that to doing this. So it was your data, Tilly's data, FBI stuff. They had all similar information that kind of fits together. That's why Dennis Martin, I think, is solved, right? I think it's solved. However, Mike Hearon, the information was more elusive. The police were not cooperative. So getting data was much more difficult. Nobody wanted to cooperate with us. So when they went out to investigate, the area to see, what's out here. Yeah, we were getting some strange things. Definitely seeing orbs. Definitely hearing what was the weirdest was these metal sounds. This ding, these weird metal sounds, and it kept getting closer. And that was a little bit disturbing. That these metal sounds was getting closer.
Yeah.
I saw a flash that would very much resembled what I had seen at the LBL with the portal. And I was behind some trees and some foliage and stuff, so I couldn't get a whole good look at it, but it was on a trail, and I think that a portal opened up because it's very similar conditions to what I had seen up in the LBL and what Scott Carpenter had filmed and what Adam had seen, where he had seen a portal. Very similar conditions. All three were very similar conditions. Okay. So I think I saw a portal open up, but it was only for a flash, right? I think something else happened to Mike. I think it was more cryptid related rather than just human related.
Oh, well, I can't wait to see what the film shows with the investigation, because I'm super interested in that. I had not heard of Mike's case until today. Okay. When I asked you, I was like, who else have you guys looked at in your film? And you told me, and I was like, and so I immediately started doing my research on him. And it is a pretty fascinating case. Now, of course, when I had remote viewed the missing persons clusters, I was given a couple of different blind targets from my friend Barry, and he kept pushing me to keep going deeper into these targets, and it made me physically sick. Mm-hmm. And from doing that, and I was literally sick for at least a week to 2 weeks after that. It drained all my energy, and it was so, I want to say, almost like horrific in a way, with some of the data that I was getting, because he asked me, he would always ask me after I got done with the session, he'd say, "What do you think this is?" And I was like, well, and this is in regard to people missing out of our national parks. And I said, well, first of all, there's kidnapping, there's people being taken to underground, they're being experimented on, and then they're being disposed of. And I told him, and he asked me, well, what was the facility? What was this like? And I said, well, I was either under the Vatican or under Fort Knox or the Smithsonian. I had all these places that I was like, it's some sort of a facility that would be top secret almost. You have to have some kind of clearance to get in. You know what I mean? And it's guarded like Fort Knox is what I told him. And but there's something very sinister going on, Greg. Something very sinister. And
I think so too. Particularly if you believe the treaty that was with between the United States and the Greys.
Yes.
If you believe that treaty, yes, there's something really weird going on, and experimentation is one of those things that's going on. A lot of people don't know this. When I was a kid, I had a UFO experience, a very close encounter UFO experience.
Oh, did you?
Oh, yes, I
Let's hear
did.
about it.
And well, I was very little, probably 4, maybe 5. And it was with my 2 older brothers, 2 older cousins. And we were on a road going into my grandmother's. So we're on this road and this giant beam just shines down on us, just boom. And I try to look up, you can't see beyond the light, you know that. But the next thing I know, I remember looking at my hands like this, and I'm like, wow, I can feel the light. You could feel it. Now I would liken it to static electricity, right? But it was so bright, you could not see beyond the edge of the light, right? And what was so weird was the light didn't diffuse. It was just cut. When it hit the ground, it didn't not reflect off. It just boom, it ended. But you couldn't see past that edge of the light.
Wow.
I remember being terrified. Then my next memory was being on the porch of my grandmother's, and it was a covered porch, old country house. And I remember thinking, how is the light coming through the porch? Because the whole porch was lit up. Anyway, and then the light lifted. It didn't turn off. It went, It lifted up.
Wow.
Okay. I never saw the craft, but my oldest brother did. He said it was a giant triangle. It took up the whole sky and just went, and it was gone. Okay. The weird thing about this is none of us remember how we got from the road to my grandmother's porch. None of it. We all have that missing gap.
Oh my gosh.
So,
wow. That explains a lot, actually. It really, it kind of does. I have a history of possible abductions like that in my family as well. My great grandmother and my great aunt had something like that happen in Rome, Georgia, back in the 1980s. And a light came down over their car, just like that, like you described. And the next thing they know, they're a county over, and it's been a couple of hours. They've missed all 2 hours time or an hour time, and they were 20 miles down the road. They had no idea how they got there. And,
it was like this. We had no idea. However, I will say this: when it first happened, it was almost dark, but you could still see a little bit of light in the sky, right? Yeah. But when it was over, complete blackness. It was just dark. I don't know what time. I don't remember what time it was.
What about your brothers?
We all have the same memory gaps.
Really?
Yeah. Not long ago, my aunt passed away, and I was like, okay, it's time to talk about this because the UFO stuff had been coming up with the Tic Tac UFO and all that stuff, and I was like, hey, do y'all remember when this happened? And so we were all sitting there talking about it, and I said, do you remember how we got from the the road to the porch? And they don't remember. None of us remember.
Well, I'm not saying it was aliens, but it might have been aliens.
But it might have been aliens.
Maybe aliens.
That's one of the reasons why I hadn't really gone alien hunting, because I might find them. You know?
Oh man, once you get on the radar, you never get off of it.
Yeah, I know, right? That's one of the reasons why I hadn't gone alien hunting. But that might change here in the near future.
They hunt us. Well, here's the thing: like I never could remember having any kind of ET contact until I started going Bigfooting, and then I had that missing time where I had that recorder out and I was hearing bottle rockets shooting off. And the next thing I know, I'm waking up with ETs in my bedroom. So twice. Ooh. Yeah. So it's all connected, Greg. To what?
I'll teach you to come home with a hangover.
Oh man. Well, at least it wasn't calling me from behind the bathhouse. Just kidding. Oh man, it was just in my bathroom basically, but yeah. No better. Just saying.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
But and I tell you what, not too long ago I was doing one of these God helmet things.
Oh yeah, we were doing it at the Meadow before.
We were doing one at the Meadow, and when I was at the Meadow, I did see some things, but I didn't see an alien. I did see like weird spaceships or whatever. Didn't see an alien. I was doing it in Missouri, and there I saw aliens. I saw the classic gray. It was like there was this, everything went white for a minute, and then you kind of went into this seeing what was there, and there was like these two walls that was up, and this alien was like looking dead at me like this, right through there. Like what are you
Like The
doing?
Shining.
Yeah, kind of like The Shining. Yeah, kind of like that. And I'm like, what the hell? But I saw it twice, the same thing twice.
Oh my God. That's creepy. That's a little creepy, but yeah, I don't know how all this stuff is related, but this stuff is related to when you get out there and start doing all this research. And I just wanted, and I say this take it as a word of caution. Okay, if you're going to go out there and go Bigfooting, be prepared to have aliens in your bedroom when you get home at night. I'm just,
Oh yeah,
just be prepared.
It's all related. I mean, that's one of the things that we've learned when we were making Booger, our first film. And, and I'll be honest, when I first started making Booger, I thought, it's a wood. If it exists, it's a wood ape, right? Over the years, I was just started going with the data, and then that completely changed. And I was not prepared for all the other things that I was going to experience while I was out Bigfooting.
Yeah.
It's all related.
It's all related somehow. And that means I can't say I've ever seen a Bigfoot getting off a UFO or anything, or getting into one, or I don't think it's like that, but there's just something, I don't know if it's the same frequency or like, I don't know.
If that's the thing is, talk about these orbs, right? I think a lot of things can be an orb. Like, I think when we die, when we pass away, we're still just energy, right? Well, who's to say that we don't manifest as an orb later, right? Or what if other beings have the ability to transform into an orb? What if it's natural for most of the universe to be able to do that? So I'm not saying it's just Bigfoot having these abilities. Maybe there's lots of things that have these abilities, and we just don't understand that.
I know we're behind the times. We should be able to turn into orbs.
Yeah, right.
I mean, maybe that's something we should work on next time we're out.
If you're around Jamie in camp, you'll turn into an orb.
I'm going to work on turning into an orb. I don't know. We'll see. Bob turned into an orb a long time ago. He did. He turned into an orb and shot across the field, and that was weird. Okay, and he didn't remember how he got where he was.
Walked into the portal.
That was. I want to say it was before, but I don't know. I can't. It was around the same time, I think. I mean, we'd been going out there for a while. So.
Yeah. But he'll argue to you. He'll argue about that. He'll say he didn't.
Yeah, he did. Yes. I have a wonderful interview with Bob, by the way, because Bob didn't do a lot of interviews, but I do have an interview with Bob that I shot on location near the meadow, not at the meadow, but near it. And I sat down with him in our camping chairs and turned my camera on. And it's one of the best interviews ever. And Bob, it's a Bob Tells All, and it's on my YouTube channel, on my playlist. If you guys want to check out my field research playlist. So
I tell you, and I don't know if you were, you might have been there. I can't remember. We were at one of the memorials for Bob, and I had done a God helmet session, and then immediately Shay had led us into a group meditation session. And I was telling my story about what I saw. I was like, okay, I saw all these other things, but I saw this big white orb and it had a black dot in the middle. I didn't know what it was. And then Trey turned up and he says, oh yeah, I know what that is. I'll tell you what later. And then I said, yeah, and then I saw Bob, and I was going on about what Bob looked like, blah, blah, blah. And then later they said that, Bob had seen that orb with a white orb with a black dot in the middle, right?
He did, yeah.
He did, and I didn't know that, right? I didn't know that at all.
I remember that. I was there when this happened. I'm pretty sure.
Well,
I was doing the meditation with you guys.
Okay, if you remember, I left immediately afterwards. Yeah, because it disturbed me. Yeah. I had never had a psychic experience before, right? And it disturbed me. And it not only did it disturb me, I was feeling guilty because I didn't know Bob like you guys did.
Yes.
So I got when I went and got in the truck, I was like, Bob, I said, I said, why me? Everybody else should have had that experience. And just as sure as me and you are sitting here talking, I heard he said it had to be you. I'm like,
Oh,
yeah, no, I'm not kidding. I said, what do you mean, Bob? They said, why it had to be? He said, everybody else knew that story.
I love it. If that's not confirmation, Greg, I don't know what it is. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
And he was right.
Mm-hmm. He said, everybody else knew that story.
We all knew that story. Yeah.
And I didn't, right? Me and Bob had a conversation all going until I was driving up the hill, and he was arguing with me.
That's Bob.
He argued with me from beyond.
That is hilarious. But that's the real deal, you know what? And it's really interesting when we don't put limits on our physical selves, and we think outside the box, and we're able to take the time to explore our psychic abilities and to be able to tune into something else, not just like this little physical reality in our little 3D boxes that we're taught to live in our little matrix system. When you realize that there's more, and when someone passes away, they're still here. They're still here. Just like your mother, as you watched, as she passed on.
Mm-hmm.
When we can tap into something to I want to say the ether, okay? Basically, you tap into higher consciousness there, and you think outside the box. We are limitless beings. We can do. There's a lot we can do. Mm-hmm. And I know it was kind of shocking for you that day, right?
It was. And not only that day, I was disturbed for months afterwards.
Oh no!
For months.
Oh no!
And he left me with this. And he had said that he wanted, as like, why do you want to be buried here? Somehow we got on that subject, and he says it's not so much the place. He says it's the place where all of the people he loved gathers together.
Oh man, don't make me cry, Greg. That's so sweet.
That's
right.
That's what he left me with this.
I love that. That's Bob for sure.
Yeah.
Yes. That's wonderful, Greg. That's confirmation right there. And you are tuned in, tapped in for sure.
Well, I don't know.
And I appreciate that.
Whatever it was weird.
It was real
ordinary, and it was real.
Yeah. It was weird. I was going to say weird. It's real. It's real as real gets out there. And I don't know. I like doing weird stuff in the woods with weird people. I don't know about you.
I love it. I absolutely love getting out, going out in the woods, and there's nothing, you don't know what you're going to experience, right? You might experience an orb, you might experience some weird person coming into your camp and, saying something weird,
Oh man. We've experienced it all, Greg, and I'm so glad that I get to hang out with you in the woods occasionally, and it is fun. It is fun.
Well, it's a lot of fun, I don't get to do it enough. I wish I got to do it more, and maybe one day I'll retire and I'll do it full time. But until then, I do it sparingly, but I love every minute of it.
Me too.
I try to tell the best tales and stories that I can from it, so that everybody else can experience what we do.
You're putting it on the big screen too, and hey, I got to do an interview with you around the campfire actually, and that was kind of fun. I felt like I was in my element right there actually. Mm-hmm. And I can't wait to see how it turns out.
It's sure. Good.
Yeah.
You'll love it.
I'm absolutely going to love it for sure. Why don't you tell the audience? This has been a wonderful conversation with you tonight, Greg. I've really enjoyed it, and I hope and I pray you'll come back and come hang out with me again soon. And
awesomeness, of course,
please. Okay, it's a lot of fun, and I want you to please tell the audience about the film, where they can find it. I know Cryptidville, we got Mark's in the chat. Mark Maycheck up at the LBL is in here, and he put some of the links in the chat tonight for the premiere of The Vanished. So if you'd like to tell the audience all about the premiere and whatever else you got.
Yeah, so I had a premiere last year, went great. Now having another one this, a year from then, the premiere of The Vanished. It's going to be a conference and premiere of a film. Going to have a whole list of speakers. There's Trey Hudson. There's the mysterious cryptid Huntress.
That's me. Crazy cryptid
Natalie
Huntress.
Spearman, she's going to be there. Sir Brian Bowden's coming.
Cool.
Yes,
Fun.
there's a ton of great speakers coming. There's going to be a ton of fun. There's going to be food. There's going to be games and contests. It's going to be a great time, and it's going to be inside. So it doesn't matter if it's going to be raining. It doesn't matter if it's cold. It's going to be inside. And of course, there'll be your vendors and all that stuff there too. And it'll start at 9 o'clock. It's in Gardendale, Alabama, at the Gardendale Civic Center. It's a beautiful place, absolutely beautiful. It's very safe area, extremely safe.
Okay.
Lots of hotels and things in the area, so you don't have to worry about, where am I going to stay? Do I have to camp out? No, you don't have to camp out. But at the end of the show, at the end of the conference, we're going to show the premiere of the film, and I can't wait. I really can't wait, to be honest with you. But it's going to be shown on a big projector. It's not like it's going to be at the movie theater, but you get to have a conference too, and it's really cheap. It's only like $15 to get in. That's really cheap for a conference. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It is. It's really cheap. Still looking for vendors. Vendors is only $50. You want a table and come out and share your stuff and sell it, make a few bucks. Come on out.
Oh,
And you can get your tickets on Eventbrite. Eventbrite, the premiere of The Vanished.
The Vanished on Eventbrite. Okay, I didn't put that on my banner. I'm sorry. I did not.
Oh, that's okay.
Let's see. I'll put it right here. The Vanished.
Yeah. Once I get these last two segments done, I'm going to be pumping it more and promoting it more. But I'm kind of driving hard to finish these last two segments. Because I have a tendency to get 90% done and then kind of this kind of and then all of a sudden I'm there at the last minute where I got to finish this. So I want to go ahead and try to get finished early so that I can have DVDs and all this other stuff ready to sell at this premiere.
I have faith. You can do it. You can do it. You'll get it done. You'll get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've got a couple of months, but of course we do have Thanksgiving and Christmas coming up. So
we do. Yeah. And whenever you do a film, it's not like you do the film and poof, it's done. No, that's your first version is done. You have to go back and look at it and tweak it and then re-render it. And it's a long process even after you get it done. So it's not done even when you're done.
Yeah. Well, you got to be you're a perfectionist probably. Okay. And see, with me, with my shows and stuff that I do, I hit one button and I go live, and then I hit a button and I end the show and I'm done. I did do some editing. I have done some editing lately. I had my a wonderful guest on this week, and he told some pretty risky jokes, and I had to go in and kind of cut them out before I could air the show. Okay. So I will, if y'all wonder why it was a little choppy, I had to take a couple of the jokes out there, and there was a couple of things I had to cut out. So, but anyways, yeah, that's very rare. I never have to do that.
Yeah, editing is an art.
It was fun.
Yeah, editing is an art.
It is.
To put things together so that it makes sense. It's an art. I'll leave it at that. But it's one I love doing. I absolutely love editing. And I am a perfectionist. I don't want to show somebody else something that sucks. I really don't. If I don't like it myself, I'm not going to show it.
Yeah. Oh, I feel you. Well, your movies are absolutely wonderful. I cannot wait to see the new one, The Vanished. If you guys want to come join us, come see us January. July 31st.
I don't know
where am I? What day is it? It's January the 31st. That's a Saturday. It starts
It
at
is.
9 a.m. That's early. That's Alabama time.
It's Alabama time.
So it's 10 a.m. my time.
Yeah. So
Yeah. So that's
So
all.
you'll
It's
be-
an all day. Yeah, I'll have
Yeah,
to come
it's gonna
spend
be
the
an
night
all-day
somewhere close.
it's an all day thing, and I'm teeter tottering on whether or not I want to have a party afterwards. Yeah, it's the same event. So I've got the place till
Okay.
11.
Okay. Well, I will definitely have to find a place to come crash somewhere so I don't have to drive back and forth if you're having a party, because I'm gonna have to go to the party. Okay,
I'm
just
gonna have
saying.
a party.
And there's Bigfoots out that way too, so I
Yes,
might
well.
go Bigfooting. Maybe we'll just all go camping. We'll get a
Hey,
crew
we can
together.
do that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And hopefully we will not go vanishing after that.
Hope
I'm
not.
just saying. Yes, I hope not. But Greg, this is so wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. Where can people find you? You have a YouTube channel, and
I do. You can
Yeah.
find me at Greg Ogles, Relic Films Media. You can find me on Facebook. I'm very accessible on Facebook, TikTok, and you can find my films at on Tubi TV and Roku and all the other streaming platforms. And the first one's called the Downy Booger. The second one's The Land Between the Lakes. Third one's going to be The Vanished, coming out January 31st, 2026. You'll love it. I actually really like it. And join my channel on YouTube. There's going to be some exciting things coming up. I'm also going to be starting a new podcast type TV show. It's called Beyond the Ordinary. We're going to have some great episodes, and it's going to be a little bit different than your normal podcast. So stay tuned.
oh, I can't wait. That's exciting. Super exciting.
Mhm.
And big things popping over there, Greg. I can appreciate it.
Yeah, we got lots of irons in the fire.
Yes. Well, strike while the iron's hot. Okay.
Yes.
Do it. It's amazing. Okay. Well, wonderful. Well, thank you so much. I know. Listen, I will see you back out in the woods soon, hopefully. If I don't see you between now and the premiere, I'll see you at the premiere
Yes.
for sure. And hopefully you'll come back and hang out with me again. This has been really fun tonight. So
I hope so.
a lot of fun. Okay. Well, thank you guys so much, everybody, for being here tonight. I wanted to thank Long Island Bigfoot Mike for being a member of the Hunt Club for, I think it said 18 months. Golly. Thank you. You're almost 2, Mike. You're almost 2 over here. Thank you. Easiest way to show support. Thank you. If you guys would like to become a member of the Hunt Club, just hit the join button on my YouTube channel. It's a membership. You get exclusive videos, and you get your name. Your name turns up green in the chat, y'all. So it's pretty cool.
Mhm.
But anyways, thank you for your support, Mike. And thank you to everybody who gave super stickers. And I did want to mention this comment from Cryptidville. He said, Brent's eyes were glowing when you got back to camp. That's how I knew what happened was real. And I wanted to point that out. I thought that was cool. That must have been the LBL, right?
Yes.
Okay. Very cool. Well, thank you for being here, Cryptidville. And thank you to all my moderators for putting all these links in the chat all night and for being so flipping awesome. And y'all come back and see me on Saturday night. We'll be back here on The Hunt at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 Central. And Greg, thanks again. Please stay safe out there, Greg. And I don't know. I think it's cool. I hadn't heard most of these stories, the encounters you've had tonight. So this has been a treat for me as well as the audience. Okay. So, and maybe, hey, I want to go to McIntosh sometime too. Maybe we can all get up there. It's in West
You only
Georgia.
live an hour from there, right?
I don't even live an hour from there. It's closer than that. I want to go get my ankles grabbed. All right, just kidding. Bring Janice. Okay.
Right.
Oh my God. I'm just kidding. All right. Well, have a great night, Greg. Y'all have a wonderful night, and I'll see y'all back here on Saturday. All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
See you.